I am Devi, and as you all know, I have been sharing real life stories about paranormal activities. I have already spoken about the ghostly experiences which I had undergone. You can listen to those terrifying happenings just by clicking on the links provided in the description box. Today's episode comprises one such incident faced by my uncle and aunt. I have a collection of many ghostly real life stories underwent not by me because two experiences are enough for me, but by my near and dear ones. If you want to be a part of those scary horror stories, then do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon for further notifications. Today I would like to tell a story experienced by my uncle and his wife in a hotel. My uncle and aunt enjoy exploring different places. They travel a lot, and during one of those journeys, they faced some scary moments which made them exit the place urgently. During vacations, they went to Haridwar. They had booked a taxi and had plans to move towards Rishikesh. Though they had plans of leaving early, somehow the journey got delayed. It had turned dark and proceeding towards Rishikesh seemed risky. So they thought of staying there only. It was the question of a single night. Many lodgings were available in that area. Henceforth, they thought of spending the night there only. In search of a vacant room, they went from one hotel to another, but sadly couldn't find any empty room. Disheartened, they were moving towards the cab. That is when a local boy passing by came close to them and asked them if they were looking out for accommodation. That boy came as a ray of hope for them. Do you have any idea of any empty room here? We need it for a night, my uncle said. He said yes, you can find a room to stay in that hotel. Y'all go and check. Just by saying this, the boy ran off. He disappeared in a minute. Anyway, my uncle and aunt moved towards the hotel mentioned by that boy. That hotel looked quite okay from the outside. They entered and found a man seated in the reception. When asked about any vacant room available for one night, the man nodded his head in yes and instructed a guard to show them the vacant room now available on the 4th floor. My uncle was overjoyed. When he asked the rate, he was shocked because the charges were too high. He bargained and was surprised when the receptionist agreed to give them at the room at half the price. Now, my uncle was more than happy because the accommodation problem was solved at such a low cost. He took the keys and, as instructed, reached the 4th floor by the lift. A young guy came with them. He gave them water and other needful things. Before leaving the room, he said, "Y'all can use the telephone if the need arises." Both of them liked the room, but there was one absurd thing in that room. Though the room was very spacious and airy, there was drawing of eyes all over the walls from top to the bottom. It was not wallpaper, but black and white sketches of eyes of different sizes all over the wall. It appeared those eyes were staring from all directions. Actually, it was a little frightening. My uncle said, "Let it be, ignore them and let's go to sleep. It's the question of one night only." They both switched off the lights and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, they heard loud sounds of door knocking. The sound was so loud that they woke up. Both of them sat on the bed and tried to check the time in the dark room. The time was 1 a.m. Uncle switched on the lights. They both started blabbering that who is banging the door at this hour. They were horrified to hear the sounds coming from a closed embedded cupboard which was inside the room. The banging sound was very loud and clear. They were wondering who is inside the cupboard. They were extremely scared. Then, after 5 minutes, the knocking sound stopped. Uncle convinced Dad by saying that there must be some problem with the cupboard. Let me tie a rope and fix the door so that it does not happen again. Suddenly, they remembered about the telephone. He thought of calling somebody for help, but nobody answered the phone. Aunt asked my uncle to go downstairs and talk to them. They must be sleeping, that's why not responding. Uncle went downstairs by stairs as the lift was not working. They couldn't find a single person anywhere. The reception area was empty and it seemed all the rooms were also empty. Locks were hanging on the doors of each room. My uncle realized that they were the only two persons in that hotel in that night. He was extremely terrified after discovering this truth. He went and checked nearly all the rooms on all the floors if he could find anybody inside any room, but it was of no use. All the rooms were locked. He rushed back to his room as Aunt was alone there. He was so afraid that his footsteps were also scaring him. He decided not to share this information with Aunt. He came back and told her that as they were all sleeping, so he couldn't talk to anybody. Don't worry, it is already 1. We need to spend just a few more hours and in the morning we will exit the room as soon as possible. Let's not panic and go back to sleep. So, they both tried to go back to sleep. Another hour passed and finally they had fallen asleep. This time they had kept the lights on. After a while, the second time the same thing happened. The heavy door banging sound woke them up. This time the sound was not coming from the cupboard but from the balcony door. My aunt was shivering with fear. My uncle was also shaking. Both of them held each other and stared at the door until the banging sound stopped after some time. Now the time was 3:30 a.m. The night seemed to be too long. My uncle switched on the TV and asked Aunt not to panic. They spent the rest of the night watching TV, though nothing happened after that. The next day they were waiting for somebody to come to the reception so that they can clear the bill and leave the haunted hotel. At about 6 a.m., the receptionist came. When asked why no one was available during the night, he said that nobody stays there in the hotel during the night as many paranormal activities had happened there before. This is the reason the hotel was vacant. The urgency of spending a night made them stay there. Unknowingly, they had booked a haunted room. Anyhow, what has happened had happened. Nothing could have been done. They left that creepy place and learnt a lesson of thinking twice before staying anywhere, especially during night time. So this was what they had gone through. I end my narration here and request my friends to share any spooky, fearful, mysterious incidents encountered by anybody. You are most welcome to share any real life horrifying ghost stories, no matter how small or big the incident might be. Await my next story. Goodbye for now.